Go to
Glaze
bed on
Solo
time with my
Sokoa.
wife.
Damn right.
He don't glaze Solo Sokoa.
However, I do think Solo's a phenomenal talent. I think he does his job perfectly.
Okay, okay. Well,
That is
at least it's not
absolutely
as
something you
bad as
can't take away
Snug
from.
does it. At least it's not as bad as Snug does.
Well, Snug's also in character too. He's heel Snugs.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I'm waiting for
Heel
the baby
Snug.
face turn. The baby, you know what the baby face turn's gonna be? If he turns baby face, it's gonna be when he yeets with us randomly sometime this year. He's gonna be like, baby face turn, yeets. We're like, he turned face. He turned face.
If it's convenient for me, then yeah, I'll do it.
Just like a heel. If it's convenient for me.
But yeah, when it comes to him, it is very clear that is something you just can't take away from him is how good he actually is. It's the exact same way with Logan Paul.
At his job, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. You can hate the character, but you gotta like some wrestling fans because they're so loyal and dedicated, they don't know how to separate the art from the performer. And it's like, dude, these are people playing characters. They're still human beings that have lives and love. And there was a report that came out a couple of days ago. Apparently, Logan Paul is one of the boys backstage. Like he has a high amount of respect backstage because he's shown to have such a high amount of respect for the business, and they've grown to really appreciate the time and effort he's put in. So the only people who are really hating on him are just jealous, in my opinion. If a guy can come into the business and help bring more eyes to the product and bring everybody more money, why is that a bad thing? So
I don't like. Oh, my bad.
No, you good, buddy. Go ahead.
Oh, it's just that I hate the character for Logan, but sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes I actually like the person. Like sometimes, yeah, he can be a dickhead, but other times he's cool. I saw the backstage videos of him backstage talking to everyone, like talking to Rhea, talking to Otis. Like, did you just call me babe? Oh yeah. Why? Because you're a babe.
All right, child, let's get started.
All right.
Everyone mute except for Blood, who can do fucking that.
Good evening. What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Snug Wrestling Podcast. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. It's a special episode because we had Saturday night's main event last night. And the crew's all here with me, even though it's not our usual recording day. But thanks, fellas, for joining me tonight. This whole weekend has been filled with wrestling. Friday night SmackDown, which we went over. Saturday night's main event. We had NXT Battleground. AEW is still having their pay-per-view right now, I believe. But I really want to talk about what we saw last night for Saturday night's main event, which I thought was I love this show. I thought this show was amazing. So we're going to be talking about that. How are you guys doing today?
Doing really great now that we got my audio figured out.
Yeah.
You and your fucking tap mic. Come
I'm
on.
doing very well. Just got off of work earlier today and got me some money. Let's go. Got paid today. Happy
That's
as
always
hell.
great. That's always great. So just
He's
really
over
quick.
here getting Shane McMahon's theme song. Money, 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 money.
Here comes the money.
So just really quick, you guys, after last night's Saturday night's main event, what did you guys think about the show overall? Because some of the people that I was talking to about it hated it. They did not like it. I was like one of the only ones in my group chat that excuse me. I'm in this group chat with a bunch of other wrestling content creators, and there's like maybe like 15 or 20 of us, and I was probably the only one that was like, this was one hell of a show. So just really quick, what did you guys think about this overall?
Personally, I found it mostly inoffensive. I would say that I didn't love it, but I did like it. As far as the show went, I found most of the matches inoffensive, if not a little too short for my taste. I thought every match felt way too short. Part of me was like, why did they even fly Cena out here for his match? But mostly, I thought the right people won, I guess, in most of their matches. but I think it was fine. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I'm the same way, Blood. They shoved what is supposed to be a 2-hour show into an hour and a half. Especially like the first 3 matches, which I'm shocked that they put Cena right in the middle. Like, I am absolutely shocked that they put that match there. I honestly thought that they would have switched that steel cage with Cena, if not it being the main event. But still, I did feel like the matches were a little bit too short for a show that is supposed to be like 2 hours. Like the first 30 minutes is 2 matches. Like I felt like that was just like way too short, especially for one of the biggest damn tag matches in the past few months.
Yeah, I had a feeling that John Cena wasn't going to be the main event. I thought it was going to be the steel cage match. I completely forgot that Jey Uso was on this show. So when I saw Jey Uso was the main event, I was like, you know what? That actually makes sense. He's a world heavyweight champion. He should be in the main event. It's his fucking nickname, main event Jey Uso, for a reason. But Toxic, what did you think? What were your overall thoughts? And then BT.
I loved Saturday night's main event. Unlike the pile of horse shit that was last Saturday night main event, I hated that Saturday night main event. God, that's a mouthful. Anyways, if I had to rate it, it's a yeet out of yeet.
Yeet out of yeet. I'll remember that one. I wasn't able to watch the full show because, unfortunately, I don't have Peacock in Australia, where I am. Fuck me, my brain's not working. This is what happens when you stay up all night and then work for 4 hours. Yeah, I wasn't able to watch the full show due to the fact I don't have Peacock in my area. It's not available in Australia. But I did see the clips and I enjoyed them for what it was. I did. I really enjoyed them. So if I had to give a personal rating, I'd give it 7.5 out of 10 in my opinion.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's the other thing too about Peacock. I felt like Peacock had a lot more commercials than Netflix does. Like, oh my fucking God. Like, I was thinking like, I'm just going to buy the premium version because I think, is there like a premium version of Peacock that you can purchase?
Yes, there is. The aggravating part is I did the replay because remember I was at my buddy's house. We were hanging out and having a hangout night. So I came home. I watched the show at about 11:45 at night when it started. And by the time the first match was over, I had gotten 3 fucking 60 or 90-minute ads, like commercial interruptions. And I was like, oh my God, bro. And then I was like, they need to start moving these Saturday main events live on Netflix or something, because BT and I both on Netflix, our accounts, we don't get commercials. We're completely ad-free on Netflix. So watching wrestling with ads every now and again when it's Saturday night's main event is jarring. It's obsessed. It's excessive.
Yeah,
it's excessive.
90 minutes? Do you mean 90 seconds?
No, or so yeah. Sorry, yeah, 90-second. I had 2 90-second ads, and then I like most of the matches were in the fucking ad breaks, and then 60-second ad. Not bullshitting here. 3 minutes before the match finished, and I was like, that's why to me I was like, it's fine. I couldn't get into most of the matches as much as I wanted to because just when they started cooking, it cut to an ad break. So it just kept cutting to ad break every time the match got good, and it just kept taking me out of it.
Bro, whenever I was watching the NRL, National Rugby League, when I was younger, I would go through the exact same shit. Every time there would be a fucking ad that would pull up for 3 minutes after we have just seen the tying try scorer that scored like the game. Fuck me. Scored the try to tie the game like 2020, right? and then an ad pops up for 3 fucking minutes. Like, what the fuck? Why would you do that? It's getting at the height of the fucking game.
We got a funny comment here that says they're on NBC broadcast television commercials. They will happen. What part of that don't y'all not get? We get it. Trust me, like, I'm not usually the one to bitch and complain about commercials all the time. I know that it's a business. I know they have to have commercials. I'm not an idiot, but like, I was to the point where I was starting to feel like I'm just gonna look for the premium version of Peacock because I feel like I'm missing a lot as a content creator. Like, I don't want to be missing out on good shit, you know. But anyway, overall, I still enjoyed the show a whole lot, maybe more than I should, because it seems like not that many people liked it. But I thought this show was great. But let's get into it, you guys. The opening match was a tag team match: Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker versus CM Punk and Sami Zayn. And I'm usually the one that's gonna complain about, you know, tag team matches in the WWE, the tag team division. The WWE has had good tag team matches lately, but it's with random teams that are put together. Technically, these guys are not even in the tag team division. We saw a great tag team match on SmackDown with Jimmy Uso teamed up with Rey Fenix. You know, they teamed up versus JC Mateo and Jacob Fatu. The next night after Saturday night's main event, we see this tag team match, which I really enjoyed. And to make things even better, Bronson Reed came back unexpectedly. We got a surprise return from Bronson Reed, and he is the 4th member of this group. And now we can call this a faction. Now that they added a 4th guy, Bronson Reed is the new Paul Heyman guy, and I'm so pumped for this. I popped big when I saw Bronson Reed come back, and I thought this was one hell of a way to start off this fucking show. That's your turn, Mr. Blood. You can stop dancing.
I was doing the EO Sky.
Yeah, you're doing something with your mouth.
Yeah, you know what I was doing with my mouth there, Snug? I was being right because I called it. I called
here
Bronson
we go
Reed
again.
being the 4th member.
Here we go again.
For those of you within the sound of my evanescent voice, I literally called Bronson being the 4th member about actually the night that they actually formed, when everybody was speculating who the extra members might be or could be. So the very night that they formed for the first time on that Monday Night Raw after Mania, I literally called Bronson Reed as the 4th member. So one, it is awesome to see Bronson Reed back. That is cool. So glad he's back. For those of you who forgot, during War Games last year, he jumped off of the top of the cage doing a tsunami when he was going to splash Roman. CM Punk pulls him off the table. He goes to the table, but when he landed, he kind of touched feet first and wound up breaking, I think, one of his ankles or both of them. And he was out for quite some time, and he was getting really red hot as a heel on Monday Night Raw. He'd had a great program with Seth, had an awesome program with Braun Strowman, and he was doing this whole new shtick where he tsunamis you over and over again to the point where his finish is over, and the crowd, even if he's with baby faces, are cheering for him to squash the baby face one more time. So that tells you right there that you're on the right track with his character. So awesome to see him back, because he is definitely one of the most interesting heels in an era where we have so many heels, but he's one of the heels that are cool heels. He's got that it factor about him, and it's just awesome that he's back. So I can't wait to see where this goes. It looked for a second like we might get a little bit of infighting down the road between him and Braun Breaker, but they shook hands, and we might still see some professional jealousy between them trying to vie for Seth's attention possibly in the future. I think that's the story thread that they're probably going to go on based on that small interaction they had when they were sizing each other up for a second. But overall, the match I think was awesome. I did enjoy this match because obviously if it's CM Punk, my eyes are glued like Gorilla Glue to the screen. But I thought everybody in this match did a great job. It was worked incredibly well. I loved that it came down to Sammy being the one to eat the pin because of his history he's already got with Braun Breaker. So there's a thread there that they're still tugging on. But also, Sammy's only involved in this because he, quote unquote, stuck his nose where it didn't belong with Seth. And it's like, well, no, Sammy did the right thing. In fact, Seth, you're sticking your nose where it doesn't belong because you're the one who keeps interfering on people and attacking people from behind and trying to get your foothold in wherever you can. And you expect them to sit there and just take it. You also involved Sammy yourself when he said no to you in his match against Braun Breaker just a few weeks ago, and you curb stomped his head into the mat. So no, you involved Sammy in this. But having the finish be a way that it protects Punk and Sammy was smart. Utilizing Bronson Reed's return by having him run Punk through that barrier. And I still, to this day, no matter what, I always pray to God, please, Punk, don't get injured, don't get hurt again, because I don't want to see him hurt. I love him being an active competitor. So when I see Bronson Reed, that massive mountain of a man, smashing him through a security barrier, I'm like, please, just land safely, But I thought it was a great finish because it sets up, obviously, the new stable in its completion, I'm assuming at this point. You don't want to overfill the stable because then there's too many people to focus on and you'll lose the plot real quick. But it protects them in the finish because they lost due to interference with the ref not being able to catch it. Sammy gets distracted trying to check and then turns around straight and do one hell of a spear by Braun Breaker. And ding, 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 Bob's your uncle. This shit's going to get real good real quick. So loved it.
Yeah, and just really quick, I just want to add that CM Punk looked really fucking good in this match too, by the way.
He looked awesome.
He
in
was
this
on
match.
fire.
And man, say what you will about him, but there's a select group of men on that roster that are in their 40s that still move like they're in their 20s and early 30s. CM Punk, AJ Styles, you're about to be kissing 40 with Reigns, Rollins, and Drew here pretty soon. But you've got AJ Styles, Finn Balor, Damian Priest, all in their 40s. All of them excellent workers. Like, their paces are still incredible. So yeah, Punk had a great showcase last night.
I love this match, even though even though I didn't like the outcome, like who won in this match, I would have preferred for Sammy and Seth, but they lost in a good way to where I was happy with it. I was happy with it because, like Blood said, they looked strong in the finish. Obviously not so much Punk because rest in peace his ribs. But yeah, I liked it, but I didn't at the same time. More liked it than I didn't.
Yeah, you were hoping to see CM Punk and Sami Zayn win, like a lot of us did. I was kind of hoping for that too, but I think this finish does make him look stronger. You also add Bronson Reed, which even adds more to that, and it kind of makes you wonder, like, what is it going to take for this team, this faction, who's going to step up to them now? I think that was the big question that at least that's what I'm looking forward to seeing next. But Tommy, what did you think?
One thing you also gotta remember though as well, and this is really quick, but it's to your point, Toxic. We all want the guys we really love to win, but this is the first time this team has been in action together ever since they formed as a team. So they need that win to keep them strong, keep their momentum going. So just keep that in mind.
Shout out to the real life How Big. What's going on? Welcome.
So my issue with it is simple. It was too short. It truly was. I get it. You're trying to open up the show in a big way. But this is one of the biggest tag matches within the past couple of months. For sure. And you gave them like 10 minutes. Like 10, 15 minutes. For one of the biggest tag matches Like, I love all four of these guys. I really do. Bronson Reed coming back. Thank God we have not seen this man in almost a year. So we're good there. We are happy that this man is okay and that he wasn't like out after breaking both of his ankles. So we're honestly good with that. But I honestly wish that this match would have been longer. I get it. You were trying to make it quick because it's supposed to be a 2-hour show. But like I said in the beginning, you took what is supposed to be a 2-hour show and shrunk it into an hour and a half. I honestly wish that this match would have been longer. That is my only issue with it. Other than that, this was a fantastic match.
The only thing I got to say about this is for people who say that Bronson Reed joining Seth and Braun and Paul was a bad decision, that Seth and Bronson Reed have history of a rivalry, like why would they squander that? Mr. Blood brought up Survivor Series, War Games. They have a common enemy, which is CM Punk. CM Punk moved Roman Reigns off the table for Bronson Reed to go through. So I'm pretty sure Bronson is going to want to get revenge on Punk, because I think for some reason they'll probably say something like, you're the one that broke my ankles. It wasn't me that landed on my feet. It was you. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have landed on my feet. Like, they'll come up with some bullshit like that. You know what I mean? So I think it was the right decision to have someone like Bronson Reed join a force like Seth, Paul, and Braun. I think it was a really good decision.
Yeah, absolutely. And just when it comes to like the length of the matches, like for me personally, I don't want a match to drag also and over welcome its stay, you know. I think I don't remember like going back thinking about all the matches on the show thinking these matches are too short. Like the only one that I thought was maybe too long is the next match that we're going to get into in a little bit. But I think this was perfect. This tag team match, we had great wrestling, tag team action. You know, they did good shit here. There was, you know, they even had a few false finishes, and then we had the major return. We didn't get like a DQ or like anything like that. There was a winner here. We got to see Paul Heyman he got involved. There was like everything in this match, and it was just the opening match. So I thought that was really good. And when it comes to Bronson Reed, and you guys tell me what you guys think about this, because I saw the reports, and it's going to be Bronson Reed, but there was something. I also overheard a couple people that I talked to about this told me it's not going to be Bronson Reed because Braun Breaker, he's already the muscle. You can't add another big guy to this faction like Bronson Reed, because that's just going to make Braun Breaker look like, I don't know, like he's just kind of just there. But what did you guys think about that? Like, does it make sense in that sense?
Yeah, it's evolution 2.0. Think about it. Seth has become Triple H. Paul Heyman is Ric Flair. Braun Breaker is Randy Orton, and Bronson Reed is Batista. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I don't see that comparison, but yeah.
And
really, you have the veteran mind, which is Paul Heyman. The veteran mind, which is Paul Heyman, is Ric Flair.
I'm gonna stop you right there, Mr. Blood.
Ring general.
I'm gonna stop you right there. I just don't want to. We're always trying to bring back old shit. I don't want old shit. I want new shit. You know,
but it is new. But it is new. But it's about finding the understanding of what they're trying to do. The point of putting these two young men with someone like Seth, a seasoned veteran, and someone like Paul, a legend who builds stars, is that these guys benefit from being under their learning tree. That's the whole reason they put Randy and Batista under Triple H and Ric Flair. It makes perfect sense.
Also, we're comparing Paul Heyman with Ric Flair, but yeah, go ahead, Tommy.
So my response to this is simple. With an army, with a good offense, you need a good defense. And when it comes to this group, Braun is the great offense, and then Bronson Reed is that fantastic heavy defense that they needed.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's cool. I'm good with this either way, but it's just something like at first Braun Breaker, he seemed like he was like the muscle, right? He was that defense. He was that that weapon that Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins had, in their back pocket to use whenever they needed, someone to do the dirty work. And then what? Now you got two motherfuckers like Bronson.
Well, you got to think. Braun Breaker is the first line of defense.
Mm-hmm.
You get through Braun Breaker, you're tired and exhausted. Great. Now you get to run into a brick wall. That's Bronson Reed. You've got to get through both of those guys to get to Seth and Paul. It's so smart because if Seth is the architect, he is insulating himself behind fresh, younger, hungrier talent that are also powerhouses. And you have one who has the speed and agility who can cut through you like a knife, like Braun fucking Breaker. And then you've got Bronson Reed, who is literally the ginormous absorbing shield. So you take down Braun Breaker, great. You've expended like 80% of your strength just to get that guy out of the way. Now with 20% left of your energy, you've got to get through Bronson Reed. So by the time you get through Bronson Reed, you're crawling on the floor begging for your mom, and then Seth's going to jump up and stomp your head to the freaking ground.
Yeah,
it makes it intimidating.
This match. That's what you did.
Yeah.
Punk reached for Paul, and that is what led to the tsunami onto Punk. He got through Breaker, but he was still stopped fully by not Strowman. Yeah,
Reed.
By Reed.
Yeah, it really makes Seth's faction feel that much more intimidating, and it makes Seth himself more of a threat than he already was, because Seth's already a threat. But if you want to get to Seth, who is Seth freaking Rollins here, you got to get through those two guys first, and then you get to deal with the multi-time world champion, first ballot Hall of Famer, who's fresh as a daisy, because these guys just ripped you in half before you got to him. So I feel bad for whoever steps up against these guys, because it's not going to be fun.
Yeah, they're going to have to do, I don't know, man. Something's got to give, man. But it's going to be cool, and I'm interested.
You're right. You were right, though. Snug, you hit it on the head when you said, who the hell do you get to stop these guys? You hit it on the head. That's why it works so well. Mm-hmm. It makes you go, oh, fuck, this actually feels like they're going to have to pull out all the stop. Like, it makes you excited for, like, who are they going to throw together?
Yeah, I'm starting to feel bad for CM Punk and Sami Zayn. Like, so that's cool.
Kind of reminds me of the ending of the Nexus, really, where Cena had to create this ragtag team of him and like 4 other guys just to finally take the Nexus down.
Yeah. Good stuff, y'all. Unfortunately, we're going to have to talk about this match. I don't want to spend too much time on it because it was Zelina Vega retained versus Chelsea Green after breaking her nose in a fucking horrible attempt of a 619. I was kind of hoping Chelsea Green was going to retain here. But now we still got Zelina Vega, Women's United States Champion, to look forward to on Friday nights. But overall, I didn't really pay too much attention to this match, to be honest. I was just kind of watching it to see if Chelsea Green would actually win. And after I saw that wasn't going to happen, I was like, all right, fuck, whatever. But what'd you think about this, Toxic?
Surprisingly, for me, I know not for Snug because he just explained how much he hated this. Surprisingly, I thought this was gonna be the bathroom break match. You know, the match that's not that interesting of the night. I thought it was gonna be that, but it was actually good. For me, the match was really great. It yes, it got like boring in the beginning, but then as they go into the middle to end of the match, it's entertaining and it's fun to watch. You're like, oh my god, what are they gonna do next? That's how I felt about this match, and I feel like Chelsea, and I'm not saying that people need to get injured for entertainment. I'm saying the finish with the code red on the top of the turnbuckle and Chelsea breaking her nose. I felt like that put like a little bit of like a little extra spice in the match.
Yeah, to go with that 619, I do feel like Chelsea could have sold that a little bit more, other than just like lightly holding her nose. She absolutely could have sold that more. But one of my biggest thoughts going into this match is the thought that Selena Vega is absolutely an anime girl all the way. So I looked at it, I'm just like, okay, what anime character is she going to have the gear of today? Little did we know it would be one of the biggest heroes from My Hero Academia, good old All Might for her gear, which kind of makes sense because you've got this powerhouse character which practically cannot be stopped, which in Zelina's mind is her. She cannot be stopped in her mind right now. Since this is, other than Queen of the Ring, her first title. It truly is. And that is something that you cannot take away from her. You just can't. But with this, Snub, you just hate Zelina. So shut the fuck up. But with this, I'm with Tox on this one. I thought that this was going to be the last minute piss break, but it wasn't. It truly wasn't. It was a great match, and that ending with that super code breaker, perfection.
I'm gonna let you go in a little bit,
Code
BT.
red.
But I was trying so hard not to jump in and interrupt you, Tommy, because I'm not gonna let you hate on poor Chelsea Green. All right, Chelsea Green is a way better in-ring performer than Selena Vega. So for you to sit here and say she could have sold more after Selena Vega broke her fucking nose in that botch 619 horrible. No, hold on. Let me finish. Selena Vega made Chelsea Green look hella stupid because Chelsea Green had to sit there and wait for Selena Vega to fix her little 619 and then decided to just kick her in the fucking nose. And you want Chelsea Green to sell more for Selena Vega? Fuck Selena Vega. That's what I gotta say.
It looked like a no-sell. She was just laying there.
Someone wake me up when this mush mouth is done.
Anyway,
it looked like a no-sell.
I can't wait for Chelsea Green to become the main women's champion because she is not just like her character. I know her character, a lot of people find her annoying, but you guys have not seen the best of what Chelsea Green can actually do. Like, we haven't seen not even half of what she's able to do in the ring. That's what I think. But BT, go ahead.
Fuck Toxic and Tommy. I agree with Snug on this. Zelina Vega does not make a good Women's United States champion. And I have given her a pass millions of times. I'm just fed up with her. And this botch of a fucking match fully confirmed it. Not only did you botch the 619, you're expecting Chelsea Green to still fucking sell the shit out of that. when she's fully grasping at her nose being broken. Come on, grow the fuck up. Not only that, another thing that has been griping me about some of these women's matches, why the fuck do they always have to wear the same fucking gear? They looked like twins. They looked like twins. They wore the same blue and yellow outfit. We saw it with Tiffany and Charlotte at WrestleMania 41. They looked like fucking twins. Except Tiffany Stratton is a bit more thicker in the thighs. That's the only fucking difference. Like, bro. Yeah, I did not like this one bit. I did not like this one bit. I'm with Snug. I do not like Zelina Vega as the Women's US Champion. I've given her a chance. I wanted to give her a chance. It's just been boring for me. Please, give it to fucking Michin for fuck's sake. She deserves it 10 times more than Zelina ever fucking did. Ever fucking did. And that's a fact.
Wow, a lot of opinionated answers here. Okay, so now I'm going to say my shit. I already said this before. I'm going to say it again because it was also heavily over implied on commentary during this match. They're trying to compare Zelina Vega to Rey Mysterio as an underdog. I stated this multiple fucking times, guys. You know this. And then over and over again, Michael Cole on commentary kept putting her over as a prodigy of Rey, or not a prodigy, a pupil of Rey Mysterio, disciple of Rey Mysterio. He called her the underdog that was Rey Mysterio. He called her an underdog when they were outside the ring facing ramp side. And I'm not going to say that Zelina Vega is a bad wrestler because I have seen worse. Much worse. Much worse. But at the same time, I noticed in this match that the weirdest thing about this match is that this match has had a feud built into it for a little over a month now. Over a month, since prior to Mania, right? So like a month and a half now. How can a feud that's got a month and a half build into it still be this heatless? Because that crowd couldn't give a fuck about this match most of the match. By the third time I listened to Zelina Vega try to rally the crowd and scream, "Come on!" for the third fucking time, they finally started getting behind this match. They finally, towards the third act of this match, started actually getting into the match, cheering, screaming, chanting for the false finishes, all that shit. And the moment Zelina botched the 619, they started booing her. The moment. And here's the thing. We already know wrestling fans are fickle. That's no secret. However, I would also like to state for the record that I still think these women went out there and tried to have the best match they could with the time that was allotted to them. I don't think Zelina's green. I think Zelina, by the way, if you don't know this, has been a professional wrestler for 15 years. So she's a veteran. However, I just don't think these two have in-ring chemistry with each other. And they botched more than once in this match. It wasn't just a 619. They were off timing with each other. But to what Tommy said, as someone who is a former competitive martial artist myself, I'm a black belt in 2 different martial arts. And I've also been a wrestler, and I've also trained in kickboxing, and I've also been a backyard wrestler. Needless to say, I've been hit in the face hundreds of times. Hundreds. And the one thing that happens when you get hit in the face, especially the nose, they call the nose the button, because it is the one place in your face you get hit where when you get hit, there's something about the nerve endings that just shoot a signal to your brain where you lock up. The reason she didn't sell is because when she got hit in the nose that hard and it broke her nose, it literally stuns the body for a second because it's a bone being broken so close to the brain. The brain doesn't know how to send signals to move. It's like being paralyzed for a second. She couldn't sell because she was area. Yes. She didn't sell because she couldn't move, because her eyes were probably welling up with water. She had, and if you ever had your nose broken, my friend, it hurts in a way that I would rather have my jaw broken than I'd have my nose broken again. And I've broken over 13 bones in my body, and I would rather have my nose broken, my jaw, than my nose broken, because at least with my jaw, I don't feel like I'm about to vomit, because getting hit that hard in the nose, you get nauseous, dizzy, tired, and almost pass out all at once. So Chelsea, being the consummate professional and, in my opinion, the badass, tough girl that she is, because if you've seen her in Lucha Underground, that girl is tough. She still carried on with color seeping down her face into her mouth, which also means it's going down the back of her throat and she can't breathe. She's trying not to drown. Is sitting on top of the ropes in a code red setup with her head down like this. When anybody's ever had a bad nosebleed knows, you have to keep your head up like this. And I have literally had both of my nostrils, my blood vessels, cauterized because both blood vessels blew open in 7th grade. And I had to get evac to the hospital. They had to shove matches up my nose to burn my capillaries closed. And I can tell you, this is the worst position for you to be in when you are bleeding that profusely. Chelsea could have passed out, and she toughed it out, ate a code red where she let her whole body smack off the ground, which is even better when you have loose bones in your face, and still made sure that pin got done right. The MVP of this match is Chelsea, because it's sad that the woman that is not the champion had to carry the champion to the finish when the woman who got her nose broke was the one who should have had every excuse to fuck that finish up from not being able to continue from the pain. I'm not hating on Zelina. I love Zelina. I think she's a great entertainer, a great performer, but I think they put the championship on her to spike a demographic. I think they genuinely put it on her to spike a demographic. And I think it's that Spanish demographic. And I think they were trying, and they're very huge investors with Puerto Rico now. So I think they were also trying to pop them, because no offense to Zelina, but all they had to do was keep that title on Chelsea and just give her a better story. They didn't do that. They put it on Zelina for no other reason than to pop a rating, probably to entice Aleister Black to come back, because he debuted on the same night she fucking won the damn thing. But this match honestly showed that Zelina, even though she is a veteran, and I respect the hell out of her, I don't think she's, and I apologize for this and forgive me, I don't think she's championship material.
Go ahead, Toxic.
This is to everyone hating on Zelina for botching the 619 and not including Mr. Blood because he said he wasn't. Not everyone's perfect. No one's gonna automatically finish the match or finish. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Not everyone is going to hit a move perfectly every single time. There's some people, great. If you do it, great. Good job. Pat on the back. If you don't, okay, also great. Good job. Pat on the back.
No, you're right, Toxic. Nobody is perfect. But also, if you can't do the move, then don't fucking do it. Because look at what happened. Chelsea Green got her shit busted. That could have been avoided easily. But But anyway, we spent way more time on this than what we wanted. BT, really quick, do you want to add something about this match before we move on?
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly capitalize on what Tommy was saying earlier about Chelsea and the broken nose and her trying to sell more, as what his words. If you saw the match with John Cena and Seth Rollins in 2015, when Seth Rollins broke John Cena's nose, answer me this, Tommy. Would you expect John Cena to still sell more in that match simply because he's the greatest of all time and he's John Cena with a broken nose?
I will say this, now that I know more about how the fuck the nose works, no. I did not know the knowledge of what Blood said until now fully. So
Okay.
I understand the no sell.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. I remember.
Yeah.
I had.
Yeah, when they were fighting for the U.S. title, when John Cena had the historical U.S. title run with the U.S. Open Challenge and that.
Kind of ironic that the last two nose breaks we've seen in title matches were both for United States championships.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Maybe that title's cursed.
Well, speaking about John Cena, let's move on because John Cena faced Ron Cena in a singles match. It was R-Truth versus John Cena. And we talked about this match on Friday Night SmackDown, how we were all looking forward to it because it's R-Truth and we love R-Truth and he represents all the little kids that John Cena was hating on. And this match was also really entertaining. I mean, everything from the entrance all the way to the end. Yeah, R-Truth came out dressed as the good John Cena, hustle, loyalty, and respect, and wearing the colors and everything. And when the match started, R-Truth hit his vintage Cena with the 5-knuckle shuffle and the AA and all that all that good stuff. The match was entertaining. John Cena got a lot of heat on R-Truth. They kind of teased us there a little bit. John Cena was kind of acting. He fooled R-Truth. Is he gonna turn good? Is he gonna regret everything that he did? And so they kind of teased that, but it ended up being a ruse. John Cena swerved us. He's not changing. He's still an asshole. Low blows R-Truth, gets the win, and then after the match, hits R-Truth over the head with the championship belt. And again, short and sweet and to the point. It was fun. It was entertaining. But what did you guys see with this one? Tommy, I think you're up.
Yeah, I will say this. I don't think Truth understood after the show, because he did say, he posted that Cena did hesitate. Like, he's hesitated. The good Cena is still in there. He hesitated. He had the chance to hit me with the belt, and he did not hit me with the belt. He's still in there. It's just a matter of getting him back out. Like, I do get that, Truth, but you're completely skipping out the part where, yes, he did hand the belt to the ref to put back to the side. But that was literally so he could low blow you, dude. That was literally to get the attention from the ref off of you and to put the title back so he could low blow you. Like, I get it. He is your childhood hero. I get that. But still, the man's plan was to get the ref off of you two so he could low blow you. And then after the match, hit you with the belt. That was his entire plan. And it worked to a T. It worked perfectly. And Truth, I don't think fully gets that, because his main thought when it comes to Cena is, that's my childhood hero. He's still there. That is not the real John Cena that I know and love. That's not him. Guess what, Truth? For right now, unless he decides to turn back before he's out, no, that is him. That is also the exact same Cena who, after the match, right before the steel cage match, he's talking to Jey Uso about his global plan that he ends up going through on, not fully, but we'll get to that match later, of him taking the title with him when he goes. And for tonight, or for last night, for Logan to get the World Heavyweight title. We will talk about that later. But this is still the exact same Cena who said now that would ruin wrestling entirely. It truly would. In his mind, it would. Because the belt would be on a YouTuber. A YouTuber that, nonetheless, you have to give him his flowers. But again, we will get to that later. The point here is, Truth, we love you. We really do. But you have to understand, this is not the same John Cena that you, quote unquote, grew up with and love so damn much. It's not. This is a completely different Cena that is willing to do whatever it takes to win. And he proved that tonight with this match.
Quick shout out, you guys, to some people on TikTok: Maya, Dead Since 09, AJB, and Blur. Thank you guys for the likes and the gifts and the sharing and all that good stuff. Appreciate y'all. Go ahead, BT.
R-Truth versus John Cena. John Cena versus Ron Cena. I gotta be honest. The ending brought me to tears, bro. It did. Because I'm an R-Truth fan. And seeing what John Cena did to Ron really hurt me. Because I know how it feels to, look at someone who is your childhood and then see them for the monster that they are. I remember reacting to a YouTube channel years ago. I won't disclose their name because they've quit YouTube now. But they were my childhood, and they influenced me to do Sonic videos. Like, I have Sonic plushies, and I would do the exact same voices that they would do, right? They were so funny at the time, and I was like 10 years old when I was watching them, and I was laughing my ass off every time I watched them, bro. But years ago I found out they were a bit demented in the head and a bit, weird. They got themselves into some allegations, and we found out they were true. And I saw them for the fraud and the monsters that they were. And I was heartbroken. So I know exactly how it feels to be R-Truth metaphorically in that sense. But I never had the courage to be like, I'll fight for them, So R-Truth is 10 times better than me at that. But yeah, it was an emotional story that I can connect to on a personal level. And seeing what John did to R-Truth, it really hurt me. Because That's your childhood hero, bro. Why would your childhood hero hit you in the head with the championship, bro? Justice for R-Truth. Protect R-Truth at all fucking costs, bro. That is the same guy that made you laugh your ass off in 2011. And you dare hit him in the head with a championship? Brother, you stupid for that. You stupid motherfucker. Why would you do that? But as match quality itself, it wasn't perfect. But it told its story. And I think it did its job, and I really enjoyed it. So, just unfortunate we couldn't get the real John Cena back. Fucking damn it. But, yeah. R-Truth is still a national treasure in my book.
Yeah, for a second there, I thought we were, but not tonight.
The match overall was what it was. It wasn't, in my opinion, quality enough to have even been a main event on a Monday Night Raw because it wasn't trying to be. And I think that's the thing a lot of people are missing here that we're criticizing it. The match was trying to tell a story, but not actually have an in-ring, fives. No one's gonna think of, let's get a 5-star Tokyo Dome Classic, and then they throw out R-Truth and John Cena for the picks. That's not happening. We know who these guys are. We know their wrestling styles. That ain't it. Not to say that they aren't great wrestlers in their own rights based on their own styles. They are. But I like what the match was representing. That's the overall important thing about this bout, was what it represented. Sidebar, one thing I wanted to point out that no one did was when John Cena entered and his nameplate in the career highlight graphics popped up, it said his win-loss record against Truth was 1 win, 2 career losses to R-Truth. That means R-Truth has beaten Cena twice in the past. And that's on record. And I like that they brought that up because it adds a little bit more of a legitimacy to Truth's, in-ring ability in coming face-to-face with a 17-time world champion in John Cena. This isn't just some goofy comedy wrestler going up against Cena. Truth is a former champion. I'm not even counting the fucking 24/7 title. He's a former tag champion, former United States champion. But he's also can say, hey, I have 2 wins over a 17-time world champion. He can say that. And I like that they pointed that out because, a lot of people would probably throw R-Truth into the same category of an Otis or an Akira Tozawa or something like that. Comedy, fodder, jobber. That's what people think. They're in their own tier, right? The people in catering, essentially. But, it's funny because people are forgetting just how long Ron Killings has been doing this shit. He's had 2 runs with the WWE, this obviously being his longest because he also had a stint with TNA. But he's been collectively in the WWE for like almost 20 fucking years, right? So I think that there's a lot to be said about the fact that even his career has, even though he's been off TV for long amounts of time and he's never left, he's been around the block a lot. He's seen a lot of people come and a lot of people go. And people always forget the man is in his mid-50s, and he's still going. I think he's the oldest active wrestler on the roster. So when it comes down, because he's like 56. So when it comes down to it, I like that the match was telling the story of, it's not just the good Cena versus the bad Cena. It was literally Cena having to get in a ring and confront himself, having to confront the person that he's trying to bury deep, deep down inside of himself. And Truth did a great job because Truth could have busted out his own moves. Truth played mind games here, and that's not being talked about enough. He was playing mind games with John. Every move he used in the match was John's moves. He didn't do Truth and Consequences. He didn't throw the axe kick or the scissor kick, that at least not that I remember. He didn't go for the lie detector, which is the giant jumping tornado spin elbow. He literally used all of Cena's moves, shoulder tackles, 5-knuckle shuffle, actually hit a full-blown clean attitude adjustment, even locked in the STF. Okay. I mean, this is, for what it was, the purpose of the match was more of a pit stop in Cena's heel run for Cena to be confronted with who everybody wishes he was versus how he himself currently feels. And I think that they did a great job with that. The match is what the match was. The moves served the purpose for the overall mental storytelling that they're doing, which is really about John Cena's emotions and that inner turmoil that we're hoping that he has. The title smack works because it was a great way to walk off, him basically looking at R-Truth as someone just to run through and overlook. He didn't even look back at him. He just walked straight through him with that title and kept going like he was nothing but gum on the bottom of his shoe. And I think that even though Cena definitely used that title as a distraction to low blow, you can still say that maybe there was at some point some crack in his armor. It is possible that for a moment he did feel like he had made a mistake and then quickly realized, wait, I'm not going to let you pull me back over, and then low blow in that instance. We'll have to see, because we know what this results in later in the evening, which we're going to get to. But I think over the entire encompassing last year of his run, there might be several people that he runs into that he's going to have to, that are going to probably confront him with himself in some way or another, that they are going to step up to him as an opponent, but also as a reminder of who he should be versus who he's become. And I think R-Truth was the first step in that. And I think this was a right move and it made sense. But it definitely didn't need to be the main event for what the in-ring match was. But I'm glad at least it got a showcase in his last year for his last run, so we could actually still get to see, what they've been building with Truth and the Cena stuff for a couple years now. Because people already forget, Cena also tagged with Awesome Truth like just a little over a year and a half ago, as a babyface, and they won. That was the first match John had won in like over 2,000 days or some shit, was that tag match. So I think this did what it needed to do. I'm looking forward to it. And I think that Truth really brought out some good work from Cena. But I think that we also got to see a lot of great shit from Truth that we haven't gotten to see in a while. And it was nice and refreshing that he got that chance.
There was only one issue I had with the match. It kind of felt like and this isn't the issue. I'll get to the issue after I'm done saying what I liked about the match. The match, it was to me, it felt like a squash match until Truth got the few John Cena moves in, like the shoulder tackles, the 5-knuckle shuffles, the thing that looks like a Blue Thunder Bomb a little bit, the attitude adjustment, and I think he got something else in, I don't remember what. But the only thing I didn't like about the match is that it was too boring. To me, it was boring. I felt like what it needed was to be a title match instead of a non-title match. To me, I would have enjoyed this a lot more if it was for the title. Like the bits and pieces of John using the title to distract Truth and the ref, it just felt like, oh, this would be something that we would see in a title match. But that's just the one thing that pissed me off about this match, is that it wasn't for the title. I would have loved to see Truth take that from Cena, which probably would have ended up happened, but everyone can hope.
All right, moving on then. the fourth match of the night, 4 out of 5 matches on this Saturday's main event, was a steel cage match between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. Now, this match was one of the ones that I was looking forward to the most because there's a lot of history here with these two. These guys have been feuding since, WrestleMania of last year? And they've had several matches, and this was going to be the big blow-off match. And I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know who was going to win. This pretty much was like up in the air for me, right? There was a lot of important spots in this match. A lot of great moments in this match. Everything from the superplex, and these were two guys that had a lot of heat with each other. They built up the steel cage match pretty well, I thought. So yeah, the big superplex from the top of the cage was one of my favorite parts. The ending of this match, it ended with Damian Priest hitting Drew McIntyre with the concerto of all things, which that was created by Edge back in the day. And that got brought up also. Michael Cole mentioned that this is how Damian Priest defeated Edge at some point. That spot right there, just it looks brutal, doesn't it? Like, I always worry every time they do that spot, because if they don't do it right, it could end pretty fucking badly. But yeah, Damian Priest he won again. And I don't know about you guys, but I think Damian Priest, he came out looking better in this feud than Drew McIntyre, because after this match, I believe Damian Priest is 3-1 over Drew McIntyre since last year of WrestleMania. I think they've had 4 matches. Damian Priest won 3 of them, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, I really enjoyed this match, the steel cage match. I thought it was hilarious that Jesse Ventura was giving Damian Priest shit because of how he won. He just walked out the cage. But really interesting stuff here. And then later on, after the match, we heard the news that Drew McIntyre is going to take off time. He's going to go and recover. Man, a lot of things were going through my mind while I was watching this. And I thought that was really great. But BT, I believe you're up. What did you think about this?
I loved it. I loved the clips that I saw, the concerto on Drew McIntyre, and I'm so glad that Michael Cole paid respect and shouted out Edge, brought me the tears. Another teary moment for me, as you guys will know, Edge is the reason that I got into pro wrestling and into WWE in particular. I still watch some of the stuff that he does in AEW. Shout out Adam Copeland. I loved that. I loved that moment. Hitting him with the concerto was a pretty nice touch. And it was so brutal. So fucking brutal. Like, one of the reactions I saw, that Kicking It with Ross guy, he said he's unalive. He was. Bro. But, fuck Jesse Ventura, bro. How many people have you seen walk out of a fucking steel cage through the fucking door?
I don't think he's seen any.
Where was he when Roman Reigns dragged Seth Rollins out of the steel cage in the Monday Night Raw Classic with CM Punk? Where was he then? Because Seth Rollins fucking won that match and he didn't even walk out. He was fucking dragged out. Somebody needs to show Jesse Ventura the fucking footage of that match. But yeah, I thought Drew McIntyre laying unalive in the ring after the concerto and Damian Priest basically just walking out, looking strong as hell. which I fucking loved. I thought that was an amazing finish. That was awesome. And I think that was a really good payback for what happened at WrestleMania 41 after the Claymore onto the steel chair in the turnbuckles. Holy shit, that was brutal. You think that was brutal? Hit him with a fucking concerto. I've been really enjoying this McIntyre and Priest feud. I remember saying during the WrestleMania predictions that the McIntyre and Priest feud was going to be probably one of the most underrated feuds in WWE right now. You know, because they have history and they have hatred. They have heat and hatred for each other, bro. This, just because they don't have a title doesn't mean it can't be fucking personal. And this is one of those feuds where it's savage beyond savagery. No title used, but it's actually fucking watchable. This is CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, CM Punk and Seth, the Fight Forever heat. That's what these two have. And I can't wait to see what they do next, but a hell of a finish. But yeah, somebody needs to show Jesse Ventura that fucking Seth and Punk match on Monday Night Raw. Like, Roman can get away with dragging a motherfucker out of the steel cage, and the motherfucker that got dragged out of the steel cage wins that fucking match. But Damian Priest can't just walk out nonchalantly? Go fuck yourself, Jesse Ventura.
I'd like to point out here as well, but before I do, I have two major points I want to make about this. But all in all, I love the match. Thought the match was great steel cage match. We've been getting a lot of those. Well, because the difference between Vince McMahon and Triple H booking is that Triple H will book certain matches like feud ender style gimmick matches. He'll book them with purpose. Vince McMahon wanted to make everything a fucking gimmick. We had a fatal four-way pay-per-view. We have Extreme Rules. We turned Money in the Bank from a match on WrestleMania into a PLE. Then it was the fucking he made a gimmick out of the goddamn Hell in a Cell and desaturated that. Like, gimmick matches work better when they're used seldom. Very, very, very little. You only pull it out when it's an absolute break glass. The feud has hit an absolute peak and it needs to be, paid off in a way that is epic. And one thing about this rivalry that I loved is that their rivalry consistently escalated. It went from one-on-one matches to street fights to attacking each other through cars and backstage to then going all the way to a freaking cage match. It escalated perfectly to a cage match. It didn't just go, I'll see you in a steel cage. No, they feuded for well over a year on and off and then kept coming back to each other, feuded over the United States title, kept screwing each other, stole titles from each other at WrestleMania, screwed each other out of wins at pay-per-views. It escalated properly to the point where it's like, dude, you know what? Steel cage match. And that makes sense. I'm glad it's not just, Seth Rollins and The Fiend have had problems. Hell in a Cell. No, this was properly built. And I thought the match was awesome. I love that they had Drew pull out a freaking South of Heaven. I thought that was great. And I thought Damian sold his own move perfectly. I was waiting for him to pull out his own Claymore on Drew. But I will say, and man, yes, Drew is also being written off TV to go potentially have neck surgery. He's been dealing with neck issues for a while. And apparently, this match was to write him off. Now, people also need to understand when they're like, well, Damian's won a lot of their feud. It should have been Drew. In pro wrestling, if you're going to be gone for a while, the smartest thing you can do, the right thing to do, it's called doing business, is to put the other guy over strong on the way out. So he knows he's going to be gone for an extended period of time. He's making sure Damian leaves with the proper momentum to help him carry forward. So Drew going out the way he went is good because it helps Damian while he's gone. And that's just the right thing to do in the business. The ending that people are complaining about, this is my major point that people are complaining about, is they thought the match ended lackluster. Him just walking out, standing there, turning around, and then walking out. And people were booing. People were actually starting to boo when he walked out. Because people were shouting and cheering for one more time after the concerto. They got mad when he started exiting the ring, and they were booing him walking out of the ring. Here's the reason he walked out of the ring. Because if you think like a logical professional wrestling fan, you actually are following the fucking story and not just wanting to see flashy shit. Damian walked out because in their build, Drew said, at this match, two of us are going in, and only one of us is walking out, and the other is getting carried out on a stretcher. Damian decided, instead of pinning him, instead of climbing out, he would prove that he was the man that was going to walk out, and he tried to make sure Damian was the one that left needing a stretcher. Or sorry, Drew left needing to use a stretcher. Only Drew was stubborn and refused the help, and they even brought the stretcher out to him. So stop bitching. The finish happened that way because the story predicated it to happen with one of them walking out and the other one needing assistance. It was the point of it. The second major point. This match ending, I hated. And I didn't hate it because of either man in the ring, and I didn't hate it because of the finish. The finish got ruined for me by Jesse Ventura. Because Jesse Ventura, pissing and moaning all over the finish as Damian is walking out, and then shitting all over the fact that he walked out, instead of putting over the match being an epic clash of titans, nothing positive over the in-ring work, nothing about how these men have been feeding fuse, and man, what a match. This was great. You know, he walked out. He said he was going to walk out, and he did it. Nothing. Just what a BS way to end a match. What a lackluster way to end a steel cage match. That was anticlimactic. And all I could think was, dude, you are literally burying their finish. He was legit burying their finish. As it's happening, the bell hadn't rung, and he's burying Damian for walking out. And then when the match ends, you can literally hear Michael Cole trying to put the match over and over again. He keeps trying to come back to putting over the match. And Jesse's just straight up burying it, trying to bury it louder than Michael Cole can praise it. And that right there ruined the ending for me, because I was like, well, you just cut this dude's fucking microphone. And that's another thing. When the last Saturday Night Main Event, because this is the third one, so actually the last two, when he's been on with Joe Tessitore, they've had to rein Jesse Ventura back in over and over again when he's on the microphone. They keep having to rein him in, redirect him back to the point. Take him off the Saturday Night Main Events. Take him off. Because he's doing this thing that old timers sometimes do, where they get in the spotlight and they try to make it about them. So he's trying to talk louder than the actual full-time color commentators. And he's trying to make his points seem grander than the veteran fucking commentator in goddamn Michael Cole. He's trying to take most of the commentary away from Pat McAfee so he can't commentate with his fucking regular weekly partner. Take Jesse Ventura off the fucking shows. If he's not going to listen to you, if you don't talk to him and tell him, dude, you just buried one of our most important feud. And that's the worst part. This is the end of their feud. And he buried the finish of their final fucking match. Like, take him off the show, bro. Way to kill the buzz. Way to kill the mood, bro. That's all I'm saying. And if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. Please, somebody.
No, you're not. I agree with you 100%, Mr. Blood. It just feels like I get kind of worried when he's on the screen because I don't know what he's going to say. It feels like he's going to say some crazy shit, you know? And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, I don't think it's a good thing. I think that's a bad thing when you're like, oh my God, this is going to end bad, you know? And then at one point, too, he was talking over the in-ring announcer. I forgot which match it was.
It was literally this during the opening of the steel cage match when she was she was talking about the rules. So everybody in the arena could hear the rules, and everybody at home, you know, all the people who were new to wrestling, who were coming in as new fans to NBC, who were trying to check it out for the first time and understand how to win a steel cage match. He's yapping the fuck away over the woman on TV because remember, the in-ring fans don't hear the commentary. The at-home crowd does. So for all the people who were new, trying to figure out how a steel cage match works, I've never seen this. Oh, this looks crazy and cool. Well, how do you win a steel cage match? I don't know. She's telling us. And then you've got this fucking dude yapping away, talking over her. Dude, cut his fucking microphone or get on the horn with him from the back. Triple H, tell him or tell Michael Cole to tell him to shut the fuck up. For real. It made them look like amateurs on commentary because it made them seem so uncoordinated and disorganized. Like,
yeah,
get him off.
I don't know where Toxic went, so Tommy, I believe you're up.
Yeah, so I completely understand where in the world Blood is coming from with this. I truly do, because as he was saying that, oh, this is the end of their feud and all of that, I'm like, really? He buried this so damn much that I didn't think it was the end of the fucking feud. That is how bad he buried this. Where right after the match, he's yapping. I'm just like, okay, are they going to do one more match? And then Blood says, oh, this is the ending of it. What? This is the ending, and he's going to keep on fucking yapping and all of that? What the hell? And when it comes to the ending, I loved it. Because it brought back an old move that Damian Priest hasn't used since before Edge went out. That was the last move ever used on Edge, was the concerto. And I'm like, okay, bringing back this move and slowly walking out like a badass. That is awesome. I loved it. And yes, Snug, that thing is terrifying. Because you've got one chair underneath your head and then the other one being slammed on top. It is terrifying to even watch. Like, I watched that and I'm just like, oh, did he break his neck again? Like, it hurts to watch the concerto. It truly does. Because after the chair goes under, you're realizing, wait. This man's about to make a chair sandwich. What the fuck? This is scary now. But back to the match at hand. The ending, again, I'm saying fuck Jesse Ventura. Get him the hell out of here. Like, truly, get him out. Like, even, like, in between matches and all of that, he still has times where he just goes off topic altogether. Like, especially tonight, there was one point where he's just like, you think Mike Tyson can go one more leap? I'm like, what the hell, dude?
You think
Focus
Tyson is
on
going to
this.
take a dive or something like that?
Yeah, like take one more dive? Like, dude,
Yeah, I didn't understand
focus
that.
on the night. Like, Mike Tyson has nothing to do with everything that is happening this night besides the connection with Logan Paul. That is it. That is the only connection that Mike Tyson has to tonight. It makes no sense. Just take Jesse Ventura out. Take him out.
I mean, he does bring some good insights every now and then. He's not terrible, but like he just has no regard for the show. He's just there to do whatever the fuck he wants, and you can tell.
He's just there to be a legend that's there.
Yeah. Go ahead,
That's
Toxic.
He becomes a distraction.
Toxic.
Yeah, my bad, my phone died. Anyways, the match was amazing. I don't know how to say it. The concerto, I think. I don't know. Correct me if I said it. Okay, I said it right. The concerto, dope. Everything about the match, including them hitting each other's finishers, like Damian hit a Claymore and Drew hit a South of Heaven. Yeah, he did. Damian hit a Claymore.
Shit, I must have missed that then. Oh, okay.
Everything
Maybe I blinked.
about I think Michael Cole said it was something else, but everything else exceeded my expectations of this match. I knew it wasn't gonna go on to be like, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. I knew it wasn't gonna be like the Hell in a Cell, but I thought it was gonna be like a miniature version, and it exceeded that into almost that. The only complaint is, oh boy, won't you guess? Jesse Ventura, or however else you say his name. To be honest, I don't really give a fuck. That's how annoying he was. I don't give a fuck how to say his last name. He ruined it. The ending buried it. Like, wait, that you can just win a match by walking out of the cage? I mean, if you're gonna do that, at least climb over it. And I just imagine being Pat McAfee, like, dude, shut the fuck up and just enjoy the match.
The problem is he was too busy talking while Alicia Taylor was laying the rules down. Otherwise, he would have caught that part.
It wasn't Alicia.
Yeah, it was Lillian.
That wasn't Alicia.
Oh, Lillian Garcia.
Yeah, that was our girl Lillian.
Yeah, and that pissed me off before the match even started. Lillian is laying the ground rules down for the people at home that maybe don't know how to win a steel cage match, that maybe have been living under a rock as a WWE fan, or just genuinely doesn't know anything about it. Like, in my head, I said, dude, shut the fuck up. So Lillian, this goated commentator, can do her job and explain the rules. Like, the people in the arena, yeah, they got it. People at home didn't hear a fucking thing. Jesse pissed me off. If this is gonna happen every single Saturday night main event, I do not care for whatever match he is commentating. From now on, I do not care if he is going to get another legend. Hell, I would even be fine with Hulk fucking Hogan. Yes, I said it. I would be fine with Hogan at commentator. Then Jesse Ventura. Yes, I know I'm gonna get a lot of shit from that. But that's how much he pissed me off. Like, I rarely would say something like that, like fuck Hulk Hogan, but god damn, Jesse, shut the fuck up.
The sad part is, dude, you're not wrong. You're going to be getting a lot of hate for it, but I'm with you on this one.
Problem is, Hulk Hogan would just still find a way to make it all about himself. You know, my pythons used to be as big as the steel around these cages, brother. But yeah, get a ref in there. Just, Jesse, you're out.
Yeah, get your bitch ass out of here.
All right, y'all. Main event time. Logan Paul versus Jey Uso, World Heavyweight title. Main event, Jey Uso actually in the main event. So I wasn't really sure at first. You know, I think we talked about this already. I thought it was going to be the cage match. For a second, I thought because it's Cena, it was going to be Cena. But no, it was Jey Uso. Makes perfect sense, especially because of how this thing ended. The match between them two started off really slow for me. It was just like, Like I was just waiting for something to happen. It wasn't the most exciting thing. Um, and then John Cena interfered. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know, we saw earlier before the match, Jey Uso and John Cena had like a little backstage segment, face to face. The first time they've seen each other since the Royal Rumble after Jey Uso eliminated John Cena. And we see them again months later. Both are now champions. One is champion on Raw. The other's champion on SmackDown. And then John Cena interferes. He attacks Jey Uso. And I'm thinking, what the fuck, you know? And then Cody Rhodes comes out. We haven't seen Cody since Mania. He returned and he assisted Jey Uso, his brother, his former tag team partner. And Jey Uso, he was able to pick up the win. He retained versus Logan Paul. And Cody Rhodes made the challenge. Tag team match. John Cena is going to be tagging with Logan Paul to face Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso at Money in the Bank. And that made this whole match, for me, made it worth the wait. Because I thought the match between Jey and Logan Paul, I thought it was going to be, there's going to be more excitement there. I mean, I don't remember watching this match before all the shenanigans happened thinking, okay, this is a dope match. It was just kind of just like, yeah. But what did you think? Who's up? I think Blood.
Me. I will say that I like. Let me put it this way: what a difference 4 months makes. You know, from the Rumble all the way to now, you never would have. It's kind of cool and kind of crazy to think, hey, the guy who won the Royal Rumble, who eliminated John Cena in his last Royal Rumble, 5 months later, they're now both the world champions or respective main championship holders on the respective opposite brands. It's kind of cool how that works out, how the storytelling works out, because, you know, if you take your mind back to then, you wouldn't think that at the moment you're watching Jey eliminate John, that in the moment he eliminates him, one, you're not realizing Jay's going to win the damn thing. And two, you're not thinking John Cena turns heel a month later in Elimination Chamber. 3, you're definitely not thinking they're both going to be in world title matches at Mania, literally 2 months after that. And then to get to tonight, where now they're tagging against each other at Money in the Bank. You know, it's kind of crazy what a difference a few months makes. And I think it's really cool when you think of that timeline. Not to mention the fact that these two also have history from years ago when the Usos were still doing the Uso Penitentiary thing, and John Cena fucking dropped a rap on both of them and said, "You look just like your mug shots." And, you know, it's kind of cool to think. I thought the match was, I thought it was fine. I will say, coolest spot of the entire night was that fucking buckshot lariat countered into a super kick. I thought Logan sold the hell out of that. I thought that was the cleanest sequence of the night. That was cool. And John interfering, setting up the tag match with him and Logan versus Cody and Jey. I think that's awesome. That's going to be exciting. And I think we can all take a deep breath and praise the universe, Alleluia, Baba Laga, Baba Yaga, whomever, John fucking Wick. We can praise the heavens that we're not getting what was rumored, which was John Cena and Travis Scott versus those two at Money in the Bank. So thank the Lord that ain't happening. Because the only Scott that I care about is the toilet paper I use to wipe my ass. And as far as is concerned, I was dreading a Travis Scott run-in tonight. I was afraid that was happening. I really fucking did. And when John had that segment with Jey backstage, that reinforced my fear. I was like, oh no. I already can tell John, because John literally ends that segment by saying, I'll be watching your match very closely. It's like, this motherfucker's going to interfere. And then I thought, oh God, wait. If he interferes, oh no, if we hear Fiend, I was like, oh, balls, don't do it, please. Oh, and thank God it's him and Logan. So we got 4 workers in the match for Money in the Bank, and at least they're all wrestlers. Here's the other thing. And I've seen a lot of complaints online in the last 24 hours about how the match felt slow, how Jay specifically looked like he was moving very slow in the ring. And the point I made in those comments is the point I'm going to make here. Who the hell in their right mind would expect Jay and Logan to go balls to the walls crazy on a Saturday night main event when it's a glorified house show, when they don't even have like a full 20 minutes for a title match, when it's a 2-week fucking build to a feud, essentially, and we already know it's going to have a run-in interference? Why would they put on a fucking banger? What's the point? Save your energy. You know, have a match, at least a half-decent match, and get the fuck out of there. This is Saturday Night Main Event, man. This isn't a PLE. This isn't Mania. This isn't live on Netflix. This feud, the entire time this feud has gone on, they've interacted like 3 times, 2.5 times, and 2 of those times have been Jay getting knocked out and not even talking words to Logan. Just cheap shots. They've had 1 actual promo against each other. So as far as I'm concerned, it was what it was for what it needed to be for what the feud fucking was. And that's it. You know, as far as I'm concerned, it didn't need to be this fucking ultra mega fucking classic. And at the same time, I mean, at least we got it out of the way, because everybody was afraid and worried they were going to put that fucking title on Logan. And no one wants that. I don't know a single person who genuinely wants to see Logan Paul as a world heavyweight champion. Legitimately. I think, I mean, give it to him at some point, but not right now, and certainly not at the expense of Jay's run, which is still only a month and a week or so into its infancy. So it still has plenty of more time to cook. Also, we got the return of fucking Cody. Thank God. Let's get some energy injected back into this fucking heel turn from John, since The Rock couldn't be bothered to follow through on his bullshit. Okay, good. So Cody's back. Some more energy for SmackDown. Now we also have Cody back in time for the potential draft coming up in the next handful of weeks. So now we get to see a shakeup, and Cody's involved in that. This is good stuff. We shouldn't be complaining about this. People being angry at the match, Jay was moving a little slower. I'm not giving it my fucking all either, bro. And the one main thing, the only problem I have with this match before I'm done and pass it on, the only problem I have with this match, the logic. The moment John Cena yanked that ref out, when that ref stood up, it should have been a DQ. He should have rang the fucking bell. Jay shouldn't even had to have fought to get back to the pin. It should have automatically been a DQ when the ref got up, or they should have had another ref run all the way down to do the cover. Because that was my only problem. You yanked him out of the ring. That's a DQ. That's the only issue I had, was the logic of how they did that spot. Didn't make sense. Yank him out. Okay. Have Earl Hebner or somebody run in to do the pin. The ref knows a ghost didn't fucking pull me out of this ring. Oh, John Cena's here. Hey, you're not supposed to be in this fucking match. Ding, ding, ding. That's simple. That was the only issue I had. Other than that, it was fine. And we got a great setup for Money in the Bank, an actual event that matters. So, and no Travis Scott. That's a win.
Oh boy, don't I have a lot to say on this. First off, another day with Jay still with his title. 4 letters, 1 word. Yeet. Now, I saw a few things, and one of them I want to thank Blood for, because I'm like, oh boy, wait. As I'm watching, oh wait, what if Blood would say something like, oh, Travis Scott's gonna come out, and we're gonna get a tag match between Cena and Scott and Jay and someone else. And then I just have the idea, wait, what if it's Logan? Because Logan says, if I hear Fiend one more time, I'm going to punch Travis Scott so hard in his face. So after the match, I thought, like, as I see Cena, I'm like, okay, so Jay's going to probably, like, super kick him. And then Yeah, that stupid ass song. And then Jay's gonna hit a pulverizer, or not Jay. Logan's gonna hit a pulverizer on Travis, and like, hey, since his bum ass is out here, how about I team up with that bum ass, and we take on both of you bum asses. That was one of the things running through my mind. The other is after the fact that Cody's music hit. I'm like, oh my god, Cody's back. Cody Crybaby for life. I think about, okay, obviously one of them is losing because both world titles are in the tag match at Money in the Bank. And I think if you want to keep Jay over as much as he already is, you would have him win. And Cody's just coming back. So I think it would make sense for Jay and Cody to win, but that's not where my point goes. I think the winner of the Money in the Bank match, which hopefully it's LA Knight, cashes in on Cena. Cinema. I would so much enjoy it. That's how, like, LA wins it before the match. The match is right after the Money in the Bank match. And then, boom. Anyways, this match was amazing and it had a lot of things running in my head. So, yeet.
Welcome back to the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Now, I am happy that we got a tag match out of this. I am going to say what we all are thinking. Keep Travis Scott away from a fucking wrestling ring. Fuck off. Stay away. Nobody wants to hear the most repetitive song since Baby by Justin Bieber. Nobody wants to hear that shit. Especially during a wrestling show. Stay away. Now, this is what I'm going to say. For the people hating on Jey Uso, he said it after the show went off air. He also said it before. He said it during as well. Saturday night's main event marked 15 years of him being in the WWE since his debut. How about you look at his debut match and look at him now and look at the wild progression that this man has had. Holy shit. For the people hating on Logan Paul, I get it, but here's the thing. You have to give this man his flowers. You have to admit that when it comes to this sport, he's right in saying that this is his sport, for sure. Every moment that he's in the ring, it goes viral. Just plain and simple, you have to give this man his flowers. Because if you don't, you are clearly delusional. It's that simple. This man is fantastic in the ring. And again, he proved that tonight. Holy crap. Now, Cena coming out. Boy, was that expected. That was predictable. Ever since that little talk backstage of, you know what? You are part of one of the most infamous families in our industry. You want to know what would ruin wrestling? If by the time my clock hits 0, I run off with this, and that title is around the waist of a YouTuber. Now that would ruin wrestling. I'm like, oh boy, he's gonna come in, isn't he? He's gonna come in, isn't he? I get it, he's watching it, but he's gonna come in. Boy, did he do that! it was kind of expected, especially with the way it happened. Now, Cody, glad you're back, bro. Haven't seen you since WrestleMania. At least you came back in a way better time than Roman Reigns did. Plain and simple. You came back sooner than Roman, and you still had time to go to the opening of Epic Universe. Yeah, I saw that. You still had time to go to the opening. Great. Now, match at hand. I'm with Blood on this one. It should have ended in disqualification via Cena. I get why it didn't, because if it didn't, we probably would not have gotten Cody coming back the way he did. That is probably why there was no disqualification there. I get that. And that is most likely why. But it still should have ended in DQ. We may have not have gotten the big pop that we did as soon as Cody came out, but still, we still could have gotten it technically. It ends in DQ. Cena still pounds away on Jay, and then Cody comes out. There you go. Tag match. Here's my thing. You want to keep 3 of these men strong? There's only one man to take the pin. Pin Logan. Pin Logan Paul. You want to keep your 2 champions strong along with the returnee? The only man to pin is Logan Paul. As much as he's a great wrestler, he needs to take that pin. As much as I hate to say it, he does. I think he's taking it by Jay.
I unfortunately didn't watch any of the highlights for this match, so I really don't have any thoughts on Jay versus Logan. The return of Cody Rhodes, I'm very happy to see him back. His presence is very much needed on SmackDown, because, not gonna lie, I've kind of missed his feeling of presence on SmackDown. I'm not gonna lie. So I realized my hypocrisy there. I'm sorry for the hatred that I spread over to him a couple of times. You can flame me for that. But that's the difference between me and you, IWC. I can take accountability for my hypocrisy. You cunts just can never. That's the difference. But Cody Rhodes and Jay versus John Cena and Logan Paul at Money in the Bank. There are reports going around that this could be a 6-man tag match with Travis Scott being involved. And one of the names that was brought up was R-Truth being involved, trying to regurgitate the story of trying to bring back John Cena. I wouldn't mind it, but keep Travis Scott the fuck away from the ring. He is not Logan Paul. He cannot be... I would love to see Travis Scott surprise us. I mean, I'm one of those guys that saw Bad Bunny at WrestleMania 37 come in and completely steal the night. That I'm hopeful that Travis Scott can do well. But for the sake of everybody's sanity and mine, is this something that we really need? Or is this just a money grab? Like, and I do not want to hear the most repetitive song since WAP. I don't want Travis Scott in the ring. Please keep this a tag match between John and Logan and Cody and Jay. I'm very excited for Money in the Bank in a few weeks. Welcome back, Cody Rhodes. And for the one time for the one time. Whoa!
All right, y'all. Well, that was Saturday night's main event. Overall, I thought it was a great show. I really liked what they did there. They gave us a lot of stuff to look forward to. It set up Money in the Bank. We got some exciting stuff coming up ahead tomorrow on Monday Night Raw, or today for some of us, I should say. So yeah, we'll be on the lookout for that. Until next time, my name is Edgar. I'm the host of Snug Wrestling. Goodbye, good night. Team No Yi, let's get the fuck out of here.
One word.